we start today's class, you have any questions from our last two classes?
Yes, Manoj, hi, how are you?
Hey, Vasim.
Yeah, so Manoj, I have received like the packet, the software where we can download, but I'm just holding back. I just don't want to do something wrong. So, meanwhile, going forward, can you do a demo or show us how do we install it properly, or it's like normal everything like the basic software installation?
You mean the image I shared?
No, Rajpal bro have shared me the software for Windchill.
No,
So
that is VM image, Vasim.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you need to turn on that VM image. So you will have a virtual server which has
Mm-hmm.
Windchill in it. I'll show you how
Okay.
to start that. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want to do any step and then just don't want to go wrong. So just holding on. So I wanted to let you know that. Mhm.
Okay. So today we are going to do some uh, UI practice, okay, UI exercise. So part of that,
Okay.
we'll see how to start Windchill. We'll start from how to start the server from that VM image. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
So any other questions you guys have other than this? Okay, good. Uh, Let me share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes, Manoj.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Manoj.
So once you have the VM workstation installed, you need to uh, open the image, the extracted image. So wherever you have, open this, then you will see this Windchill 12.1 Windows Server. Okay, once you click this, it will be on power off mode. So all you need to do is power on this virtual image. So when you're working on a real-time project, mostly you'll have a virtual server or VM image. It's called local dev. This is where you do all your development. They will have some kind of code repository. Most of the Windchill project use SVN, um, but they are gradually moving to Git. So you need to configure Git in your local dev. Um, so Eclipse is the preferred IDE for Windchill development. So few use IntelliJ, NetBeans, but I prefer Eclipse. Okay, so once you have the server on, the password is India at 123, iCaps. This is Windows Server 2022. You cannot install Windchill on um, Windows 11 or Windows 10, so it won't be supported there. You need Server Edition of OS. Okay, once you have the system ready, if you see, I have pinned a few important application in the taskbar. So you need to learn about Windchill shell. Okay, this is Windchill flavor of command shell. This is where you execute all the Windchill command. The primary command is Windchill start and Windchill stop to start your Windchill. Okay, I'll do Windchill start. So before, if you know what version of Windchill you have installed, this is the command. If you type Windchill version, it will give you the version of Windchill and all the components installed. So I have 12.1.2. These are all the components of Windchill. I have supplier management module. I have Creo view. I have Kappa customer. This is part of quality module provided by Windchill. Kappa is corrective action and preventive action. And we have the primary core module, PDM link, and CMS customer experience management, doc control. These services are other supporting module, parts link, and this is for your REST services. NC is not conformance. So these quality modules are not going to work with. Okay, so only the med device company used this quality module. Okay. Now we'll start the Windchill server. So to start the Windchill server, there are few other services which need to be turned on. The first one is Windchill DS, Windchill Directory Service. Sometimes it will be turned off, so the method server won't come up. I'll show you. I'll turn off the Windchill DS so you can see what kind of exception we are getting. Go to the Windchill folder. This is the Windchill home directory. So so every installation will have the PTC directory. In PTC directory, we'll have different version of Windchill. Since we are using Windchill 12.1, we need to go inside 12.1. And if you see here, HTTP is our Apache server, OCU is our Oracle database, and Windchill, this is our home directory. When someone says Windchill home, this is what they refer to. Now we have Windchill DS from our 11.2 system. Go inside Windchill DS and server bat. Just remember this location or make a note of it. This is how you start the Windchill DS. This will go to the Windchill DS control panel. If Windchill is not starting, this is the first place you need to check to make sure the Windchill DS is up and running. The password, the username is cn equal to manager, and the password is LDAP admin, all small. Okay, it just started. This looks good. And we need Apache to be started, so because we need our web server. So I have configured Apache as a service. So Apache is up and running. Now we are good to start our Windchill server. Initially, you will find, okay, why my method server is not coming up? So why it's giving some exception. So that is totally fine because even I had a lot of issues during my initial days to start method server. First, it will start the server manager and method server. The server manager is the one who is going to manage our method server. Since it's a local dev, I configured only one method server. The production servers will have more than one method server configured. I'll show you in my production. Okay. So you have background method server running and a method server. Okay, so background method server is used to handle your queue entries. So this is where the main operation executes. If I have configured more than one, you'll have another method server here. If you have one more clustered configuration, you will have one more server listed down here. But local dev will always have a method server. We will turn off background method server. We are not going to use background method server in a local dev. Okay, it will take 2-3 minutes to start up. If you see any exception here, it won't turn on. Then based on the error it throws, we have to debug and fix it and restart it again. So the VM I shared is fully ready for development. Also configured Eclipse in the VM I shared. Finally, it will say method server ready. You have to wait for that. This my Solar service is not running. That's why it's giving this error. So I can ignore that. Okay, I have created a new Java project. So once you create a new Java project, the first thing you have to do is you have to import the required jar files because I know so this is Java-based web application. So all the class files you need to import the jars, the supporting jars. Then only the system will understand what is WT part, WT document, other things. Go to Java build path. If you see here, there are two places you need to download or configure your jar files. One is under Windchill home directory, codebase lib. Codebase is your runtime location, and codebase web-inf lib. So click here, add external jars, codebase lib. So this is where all these jars you need, and go to web-inf and all these jars. Once it is ready, your Eclipse will understand all the custom Windchill classes. This is a simple Java project. It's not a web. I mean, I forgot the framework they use. It's not a Spring Boot or it's not a Maven project. So it's a simple Java project. And also, if you see the properties, so I have configured my output, the compiled class file to my codebase directory. So whenever you create a new file, it will be directly compiled to your Windchill home codebase directory. First time it will take a few extra minutes. The subsequent restart will be quicker. Okay, so the method server ready. So it took 5 minutes. So if you're working inside your local dev, you can say localhost slash Windchill. It will directly take you to that URL. So the out of the box password we all use is wcadmin, wcadmin. That's default in local dev. You can see whenever the page loads, it will do some caching, so you can monitor what's happening in the method server log. Okay, my server is up. So WC admin is the username for the site admin, the super user who have access to all the utilities in Windchill. Okay. Now let's start with creating a user in Windchill. That's the basic thing we all do to create users in Windchill. Mostly we can create users from two places. One, site utilities. If you go here, you will see something called participant administration. This is where we create users and groups. So if you create user at this level, this user will be available for all the orgs. And more than 90% of the companies will have only one organization. Let's create user from organization level. If you create user from org level, that user will be only available for that specific organization. So name is the username. It should be unique. Full name and your last name and email ID. Will also show the organization that the user is going to be assigned to. I always give password as PTC for my test users. Until Windchill 11.1, we don't have a concept called license profile. From 11.2, PTC have changed how the license model applied to different organization. Before that, we don't need to assign these users to group, but from Windchill 11.2, we need to assign them to at least one license group. Let's say if I didn't assign a user to license group, let's see what will happen. Okay, I click finish. Now I have created a user. Let's log into Windchill as the newly created user. See, it's license exception. User is not member of any valid license groups. So even though they have access, Windchill restrict them to view the UI. So we need to update the user license information. Um, let's say there is a user, you want to give him additional access. Then what you need to do is, let's go to the home page. You need to search for the already existing user. Go to participant administration. Just remove this guy. Don't need to create the user. We need to add the user first. That is very important. Okay. Here, there are other things you can create or view or edit from the participant administration. First is user, another is group, another is organization. So select user, and you can search based on the full name or username. So let's do a wide search. And click this user, go to the information page, to the detail page, and edit the user. Let's assign this user to some license groups. All the license groups starts with PTC. Give license to PDM link module. There are some legacy groups as well, so changing it. I go to this user page and refresh it. Now the user have access to Windchill. But if you see here, it's not going to see any product because you guys know why? Okay, because he's not member of any product. Okay, just if you have access to Windchill doesn't mean you have access to all the data available in Windchill. So that is the key part of PLM. Okay, you need to be provided right access to view information. Let's say I want this user, want to give this user access to the test product. Okay, I go to team. Go to guest. Okay, I added this user. Now if I go and see here, now we have access to test product. But you can view information, but he cannot download or he cannot create any, see, he cannot create any parts or documents. You can just view information here. Now I want to create permission. I mean, for this user, I want to give create permission for documents. So how to do that? So before we go into giving access, let's go and see type an attribute manager. Okay. So this is how we create user and give access to user. We are just giving view access. Later, we will see how to give him create or update access. Okay. Before that, we'll go and visit type and attribute manager. This is one of the key area where mostly you'll be working with. This is where we create new types and new attributes, depends on the business requirement. Now, if I go here, let's create a document. So out of the box, I see this bunch of documents, okay? But my business requirement doesn't need all this type. So I want to disable all this document first. Then we will create new document type based on our requirement. So where we will do it, we'll do it in the type and attribute manager. We need to find the right type first. We'll document. If you click here, it will show the internal name wt dot doc dot wt document. This is the internal name, also the package name or the fully qualified name of the wt document Java class. If I search this here, see, this wt document comes from which jar file? Now here it's not showing the jar file, but you can see the package name and the class name. So under document, we have all the subtypes, okay? I already told you the difference between a model type and a subtype. The root level object are called model types. If you go to your database, I'll show you. You'll have a corresponding database table. It will have a corresponding Java class and a corresponding Oracle table there. But all those things, it won't have a corresponding Java class or a corresponding Oracle table. Meaning this, even if you create a type of document, general document, the information will be stored in WT document table. This is for the user benefit to classify your documents without creating additional tables or Java classes. When I have configured the database here, see, we have a WT document table here. So all the attributes of this WT document will be mapped to this columns in WT document table. We'll see the database part later. Now we will see how to disable the types from the UI. Okay, let's say first we will disable the agenda type and we'll make sure that we have this agenda type in the UI. have this agenda. Okay. To disable it, you need to edit it. See instantiable, meaning you can create an instance of this document. If I say no, go to the screen and refresh. I won't see the agenda here. So except the root document type, we will disable everything. So the good thing running this server in a VM image is if something goes wrong, if you screw up your Windchill server, you can revert back to the previous snapshot. I'll go here. Now we have disabled most of the types. Okay. Now let's say I need to create few new subtypes based on my business requirement. Before I need here all the documents are classified. Say I need a logical place called. So I work for Thermo Blood and Cell Technologies, so I call it as TBCT documents. Okay, this is internal name. Sorry. So internal usually starts with ext and your company name. And you can give a display, I mean, description for this. And click OK. So under TBCT document, I want to call something test record. All the internal names should be unique. Okay, I created these types. If I go to my UI, I'll see my new types here. My IT document, I have my test record. Also, it's showing TBCT document, but I don't want my Termo TBCT document here because it's just a placeholder to classify my Termo BCT documents. So in that case, I create no. Well, seen it how to make it non-instantiable. And see, there is also an option called subtypable. Okay. So for my test record, I don't want anyone to create a child for this test record. So in that case, I say subtypable to no. So it won't show this type is not subtypable. If I click here, it says new subtype. So I cannot create a child for this test record. So the TBCT document is gone. I have what happened to my document? Okay, I have non-instantiable changed a little settings here. Okay, when I made this one non-instantiable, it automatically propagated. So I need to manually make it instantiable. Now we are good. My IT document test record. Okay, this is how we create new types. So the primary objects we create subtypes are document, part, change objects, and in few cases EPM document. Okay, so documents and part are the most subtyped objects. Okay, now I have my test record. If let's see the wizard of the test record. Say test record. We'll have the default attributes from the document. So whatever the document have, it will inherit that. But I don't want description. Okay, I want to add this test record document should have attribute called test results and tester who perform the test and date of testing and is test passed. Okay, so I want these 4 attributes. So how do we add that attribute and assign it here? For that, first we need to create the attributes from manage reusable attributes. Okay, if we have a root, this is also a folder location where we can logically classify our attributes. Remember, first we need to add here. We cannot directly add it to the type. Okay. Okay. I right click, new reusable attribute. Everything will have a internal name and a display name. First one, test result. My test result is a boolean, a string. And this one has something called logical identifier. We will see what is logical identifier later. Okay. Let's copy them. We always copy the internal name to the logical identifier. Now my next attribute is tester. test is also string. Next, we have data of testing. Data of testing is a data attribute. Finally, we have is test passed. This is a Boolean one. Okay, now we have created the required attributes here. Now we need to map this attribute in our type. So here, still it's showing the reusable attribute right pan. Click the test record, it will update the right pan. Action, edit, create new attribute. So now we have 4 attribute types. Okay. We are going to create a global attribute. We will see what the other 3 types are later. Okay. First, we want to create test result. And we give the same internal name. It will show which attribute you need to map to. There's a typo here, but just ignore that. Test. The next one, tester. And finally, is test passed. Finish, done. Okay. Now go to our create new document, test record. I see all my new attributes here. It's under business section. Okay. Now I don't want this section. I want to rename it something else. So this is how we customize our UI. We are not going to write any HTML or JSP code or JavaScript to build this UI. All we do is configure and customize. We'll see how we can customize the look and feel of this attribute using Java classes. That's called data utility. But most of the time we use configuration. Go to the layouts. Okay. See, I want to change it to test attributes. Okay, this is inherited from where? This is inherited from the document. That's why I couldn't rename this. So that's why I created my own attribute group. Okay, save. Go here. Now it's under test attribute section. Now we want to remove the description. Description is also inherited. So first I need to remove from this span. Here, from here. This will remove it from create layout. Just the position. Okay. Any questions so far here? See, when I say the attribute is date and time, it automatically gave me a picker. When I say the attribute is Boolean, it says yes or no. Let's say I don't want a radio button. I want a drop down. Then what you need to do is, even while creating an attribute, we can do it. Here we have drop down. Now it is yes or no. Can also control the size of this field, how many characters we can include. Let's say I want to restrict the tester name to 10 characters. Now I can enter how many, whatever characters I want. Now, let's say there is a requirement because these are all common requirements. I want to restrict the number of characters. Go to the attribute. If I click it, it will give the information about the attribute. So it is mapped from ext thermo tester. There is something called constraints. Now the string length constraint is 0 to 500. It will allow up to 500 characters and it is single valued. It cannot have more than one value, that specific attribute. So edit. See the appearance changed. That automatically give you the violation. Okay. There are other constraints here. If I click constraint, we will see that in our class specific for type and attribute manager. Okay. We'll see about all these constraints. But if you have any, so when you're working on this, if you have question about, okay, I have this constraint, what this constraint's all about, click this help icon. It will give details about the different constraints. Now we have string length. It will tell what is string length. Okay. And it will give details about the other constraints as well. Self-explanatory. Okay. Now we have created a user and we need to give access to create this subtype of document for that user. How we define that? Okay. We need to define a security policy to give access to that user. How do we define it? Security policies can be defined at container level or org level or site level. If I define a security policy at site level, it will be applied for all organization and all containers under that organization. Now I don't want to give access for that user in other containers. I want him to create this document because if you see here, test library, this document is also available in the test library, the test document. Okay. But I don't want user to create a document in this library. I want to only him to create from this product. So I go to utilities, policy administration. So there are different level. So you want to select the default, which has the product name. Create new policy. What is the type of object? If I select to which object you want to create this ACL for. You see the TBCT document is not available in the list because we made it non-instantiable. Even the other documents we have from under the document type, it's not available here because those are non-instantiable. So we cannot apply ACLs for that. Okay. We talked about the lifecycle state. In which state this ACL should be applicable for? It should be default all state. Okay, now we pick the participant. We can give access to an individual user or a group or organization or a role. So now let's select user. Select the user. So again, it have list of permission. If you click this, it will uh, tell what this different permission are. We are going to see that in our ACL class. Okay, now I want to create, give permission to create. If I select create, by default, it changes the other permission. If the user have create, you also have permission to create by move, modify content, modify, download, and read. Click OK. Now let's go here. And this is the user page. Now you don't even see the create document icon. If I refresh the page, please don't see. Add them to the member. Something else is stopping the user from creating the document. Removing from member and adding to member. Okay. Members gave him permission to create all the document. change your AC a little. Something else is stopping. Okay, an existing access is blocking this user from doing it. Let's see. I'll check about the ACL, but usually it will give the user access to creating the document. So the user will have access to create a test record. There's some other policy stopping him. So just need some time to debug that. Okay, any questions in this so far? Okay, so this is how we create different types. It's the procedure is same for other soft types as well. What I mean by soft type is this is a model type, and anything under we call it as soft type. The IT document is a soft type. Okay, since a new document is created, let's check in the WT document table. I'll tell you why I query the master table. Okay, the newly created document is called test and the number is 00021. Okay, you can see that here. This is the number of the document. This is the name of the document. So even though it is a subtype, all the data will be, the metadata will be stored in the root type database table. Same applies for the part as well. If you want to know which table it's going to save that information, go to that specific object, get this. This is going to be your table name. I have only one part created here since it's a new system. Okay, any questions? Okay, so from our next class, we are going to see all these options like workflows, life cycles, type and attribute manager, policy administration, individually, object initialization rules. We're going to go a topic by topic. Okay, I'm going to give you a guide. I'll share with John. So he's going to share the guide. It'll have all the topics that we are going to cover. It's called Business Administration Guide. Um, so by end of the business administration training, after we complete all the topics, you will know, you should have a good idea about Windchill. Uh, you should know how to configure the Windchill system and the terminologies in Windchill. Okay. Once you complete the business administration training, then we will go for basic customization and advanced customization. So these are the administrator job. Okay. So the configuration to create a subtype. So uh, anyone who have a basic business knowledge on Windchill can do it. But as a developer, that's where your Java experience comes into play. As a developer, you should know how to customize Windchill using your Java experience. So that's going to be advanced session after we complete the basic administration. Okay. If you have any issues running this image, please let me know. I'll help you to make this image up and running. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'll stop my sharing.
Any questions or concerns, boys, girls?
Sure, Manoj. I think once we like play with it, install it, and work on it, so definitely we would like to come with questions more. As of now, I think we have to get our hands dirty first.
Yeah, that is important. So
Yeah,
just with these training sessions, you won't learn anything unless you do it for yourself. Use the help library. It has all the information you need, and start playing with this and come up with questions. So why we have this, why we have that. Okay.
sure.
Manoj, will I be able to do it on the Mac, or is there a different? Is there a
So
different thing?
regardless of OS, it should work. So it depends on your system configuration. You need to up
Okay, I'll
your
try that today and
hmm.
let you know.
So you need to update your memory you allocate for this VM. Depends on your RAM size. Since I have 32 gig, I've given half for this VM image.
Got it.
Okay. Then we will end this session today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Manoj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj.